Alrighty, old gatekeeper here. Gonna bust these videos out one by one. Alright, Mr. Gardner, I appreciate your patience, bud. We finally got this done for you, man. Every once in a while I'll do a little bit of free bono work, kind of like a lawyer does. I don't mind helping somebody out, man, when I can, and just letting them just pay for the parts there, man. This fella right here was having a little issue getting this box running, and I see exactly why he was. There was some unique issues with this box here, man. I had to comb through this thing. I had to take the boards out of it. Just go through a few things here. One of the issues was with a bias. If you see this cap right here, this 10 microhenry choke was all the way soldered up, and this leg was up right here. And not too sure. Well, I think the main reason that was because it appeared that the leg that it was kind of hard to get this back down in the board. Let's see if I can get down in on that. Right there. I need to get me some plastic pointing tools, but right here, there wasn't much left on the trace right there, but I was able to put that in there when this board was out to make sure it made a good connection on the bottom of the board. But because of that, we had a little issue, and it shorted out a trace. When I say shorted out, it blew the trace off. It blew the trace completely off. That's what this wire is right here. Okay, instead of it blew it off to the point to where you have a trace about from here to here that's blown off. And usually I can fix traces up under the board, no problem. But when you got one that's that long, it's almost best to try to just run a wire on the top of the board, as you see here. Okay, so that's the reason why I done that. Instead of, I just don't want that a long piece of wire up under the board, you know, bowing down at any point during shipping or anything like that, and having a chance of it shorting out. So that's the way that we went ahead and fixed that right there for you, bud. And those are the two main issues that you were having. Plus, there was 2 blown transistors. Well, let me take this back. There was at least 1 blown transistor, and while I was taking out the other DEI, it fell apart. God, it's hard getting these things out sometimes without them falling apart on you, man. But as you remember, there was a little chip. Okay, but I done my little test, and there was 100% a blown transistor in this area right here. Okay, so there was 1 blown transistor, so I don't know which one it was. We went ahead and threw you in a pair of brand new DEIs. And because this is DEIs, I'm not going to do a big stress test on it. I'm just going to hit it with the radio. I ain't going to hit it with no driver or nothing like that. I went ahead and soldered these tabs for you, as I do with every amplifier like this, so there'll be no problems in the future. Because these tabs right here, man, I know I've mentioned it in many of the other videos. They will get loosened up on you over a period of time, and you'll have the switches where they're having problems with the lights turning on, or they'll be kind of iffy. They'll turn on sometimes they won't. 9 times out of 10 is because this tab's not making good contact with the pole on the switch. So what I go ahead and do is just solder each tab. Okay, now, listen to some Art Bell in the background, man. I've been listening to that joker here lately. He's a crazy cotton picker, man, but it's entertainment for me while I'm working. I usually just, seems like it's hard to get a video completely done these days. That time it cut off because my phone got too hot. So I went and set it in the old refrigerator. Wouldn't that be the most logical thing to do if your phone gets hot? I went and set it in the old refrigerator and sat down at the other workbench over there and making a Y-mote, wireless remote over there for a buddy of mine. I may have to give to him tomorrow at the Hamfest. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. I think I about covered most of the things that had to be done. There's a couple of things that I had to replace. The caps on the input transformers, Mr. Gardner. The caps you had on there was probably good, but I went ahead and just replaced them with the factory caps that go on there. I had to change the transistor here on the preamp circuit, and had to change a few other things. I know you can look in here and tell what I changed, but just a couple other small odds and ends, a capacitor here and there, a resistor here and there. I went ahead and changed the resistors for there were 1.6s on there. I had to go ahead and change them for the biasing circuit there. So the bias is fine. The bias was a little off. So you had a few things that was wrong, but the main thing is you had a blown transistor. That's why you were smoking this over here. So that's a brand new split combiner. Okay. Next thing is this power wire upgrade. Take a look at that right there, bud. Alright, I would like to announce that this is the first full-blown power wire upgrade. Okay, when I mean full-blown, okay, we have two 8s coming in. These are some thinner 8s than I normally use. And I like this right here. See these strain reliefs? I like the way that looks. I think I'm gonna start using them. Looks pretty clean. Take a look at that. I like the way that looks. You can take this amp up, just pick it up by the wires, man. So we got the 8s coming in, an 8 feeding each board individually or along with the ground. Okay, I'll give a shout out to 073 on that, man. I liked his way that he ran these wires, just the style of them, the way the configuration of them. I'm gonna start using that configuration so you can learn something from anybody, y'all. If you got something you can teach somebody, I'll teach them. I guarantee you they're going to teach you something. All right. Next thing is, you know, it made a lot of sense to me. By factory, you have chokes that go from each hot bus on each board over to the back of the transformer. And that choke has, I don't know the exact gauge by not looking, but I would like to guess probably something like 24 gauge solid wire, okay, that lead from the bus to the back of the transformer, which of course is perfectly adequate, or, you know, Texas Star wouldn't be using it. But I was sitting here thinking, you know, if I'm gonna be coming in with straight 8 like this, why go from 8 gauge to 22 or 24 gauge, or even it might be 26, I don't know, to the transformer? So here's what we've done. We come through with the 8 gauge. I have took those chokes off. I don't even know if you call them chokes or just a wire and a bead. I've removed them from each section, as you see, and now we have a 10 gauge, okay, a 10 gauge that's going from the hot bus to the back of the transformer. There's that one right there, okay, and we got a bead on it, and then this one back here, as you see. Here's this 8 right here on this hot bus. Okay, from that hot bus to the back of this transformer. There's the other 10 gauge wrapped twice around the bead. So this is the first full-blown power wire upgrade, meaning the whole power system is upgraded. You got the dual 8s coming in, bypassing the fuses. You then there can put a main fuse on the output of this. With this being a 500, it would be it'd be adequate to put about a 70 amp fuse. You can go with a 60 if you want to be safe. So we're coming in with a dual 8s like that. From there, instead of going through those little small chokes that come by factory, we're going through some stiff 10 gauge here, straight to the back of the transformer. So that's a full power wire upgrade So instead of offering 3 different upgrades, I'm just going to offer 2 now. This is the full power wire upgrade, okay? If anybody is wanting a full power wire upgrade, this is an example of a full power wire upgrade. And then you have the second for the people that don't want to bypass their fuses, but want to keep their fuses, but just want to stiffen up the distribution. Then that will be the second, okay? So because, you know, you got that little wire that comes from the second power wire to that diode to there. Stiffen that up with an 8 gauge, from there an 8 gauge, and then add another ground as well on the board, because normally you'll only have one coming in for that ground, and then you'll jump from here to here. We still leave that jumper wire in there. Okay, that's just for a safety reason. If something ever happened and one of these 8s came undone or something like that, you'll still have something to fall back on. So there you go, man. Full power wire upgrade. Here's the first one that I've done this way. The whole power distribution system is upgraded. Okay. Now, like I said, these are DEIs, so I'm not going to hit this hard. I'm just going to hit it with the hot radio, give it a little bit of drive, and let you see that it's working fine, bud. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and flip that on back there. We're on the unregulated supply. This thing's going to be pulling a little bit of amperage. Alright, let's make sure them ain't touching. We don't want that to happen, especially ain't they got no fuses in line. Alrighty. We're on 1,000 watt slug. Okay. Oh, yeah. About 200 watts on the RMS. We're dropping about 15.5. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and show you the peak. About 650 watts, a little bit over 600, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. It's about a 80 watt dead key. Let's see the voltage drop again. So we're doing about 15.3 on the voltage drop. Just for the heck of it, we'll press in the put on a medium. So we get a little bit less. So there you go, brother. Right there, about 600 to 650 watts PEP. Go ahead and turn that unrated. I mean, we could bump it. We could bump it one time. I really don't like to do. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. These are DEIs. I ain't even gonna do that, man. It's already on 15.5 volts. If I bump that, when I say bump it, I'm talking about. See, this is a 100 amp supply over here. We were just on the medium tap just then. When I'm talking about reaching my hand back there and flipping it on the high tap, which gives about around 110 amps. Just a real deal. I did load test that not too long ago. I don't know if the meter is completely accurate, but it was showing me about 110 amps on about 14.9, I think, 15 volts, somewhere around there. I can't quite remember. But anyway, so when you hear me say bump it, I'm flipping it up to the high tap, which is 100 amps, about 15 volts or so. When I'm on the medium tap, it's around 70, 80 amps, somewhere around there, 70, 75, 80 amps. And it's floating at 18, usually drops around 14 to 15.5. So, well, there you go, brother. You ever want to upgrade these DEIs over to some Toshibas in the future, man? You'll be good to go. I say run it. Run it until you have some, if you ever have some issues. I ain't going to say till you have. I ain't going to put a curse on you like that, brother. But run it, you know, if you ever have any issues in the future, popping a pill or anything. Heck, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'd go ahead and try to find some used Toshibas, man. There's going to be a lot of used Toshibas floating around now because of the state that we're in. Let's just go ahead and admit the truth now. And there's going to be a lot of people getting proper transistor testers to see the health, beta, HFE value of these transistors. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay, so we got to do what we got to do till they're all gone. Y'all have a good one. Mr. Gatekeeper out here around the northeast end of Georgia. Got to get this Wyomote done. Get in bed. Got Hamfest tomorrow. God bless. 73rds. I'm gone. Bye-bye.